minimize that so that it doesn't take up your entire or a third of your screen. And the way you do that is you see at the top left where you have those two arrows pointing together. See that?
Top left where two of the arrows are pointing together.
Right above the microphone icon.
It's just one arrow.
It's got to be two arrows pointing together. Go to the very top. When I say the go to meeting control panel, it's about 2 inches wide, 6 inches long. Go to the top left. There's two arrows.
I do not see that.
All right. Well, it's not critically important. The biggest advantage of it is that it won't take up so much of your screen. But here's I'm going to do it on my end. Minimize it. That gives me a little more reading capability. And here's what I'm going to do is write out my email address. This is where I want you to send your problems, your geometry problems.
Okay.
That's David Cowan 1949 at gmail.com, which is actually a different email address than is on my website, but I get this one direct. If you send it, I'll get it if you send it to david@digitalmathtutor.com. It just has to get forwarded and takes longer. So if you want me to get it immediately, send it here. And only attach one picture per email. Don't stick like 6 pictures on one email. It'll take 10 minutes to get to me.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with just one. And then maybe while we're working on that, you can take 1 or 2 more and send those. And once you get this email on your phone, you won't have to type it out fully. I'm sure you're aware of that by now.
Yeah.
Whereas next time you type DA, and this will come up as the default. Just click it, so forth.
I have this clever homework that I didn't finish, and I don't really understand it very well.
Take a picture of it, send it to me.
All right.
We'll go over it. And are you on an iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Do you know how to send a picture?
Yeah.
Send it as a large image file attachment. Not small image. I think regular also works, but I know large image works. So, and I won't get it until your phone says file sent. Can't be saying file sending. Once it says file sent, then I'll have it on my end.
It's a graph.
Okay.
I'm not good at graphing and all that kind of stuff. I don't really understand it, never really have.
Well, let's wait till I get it and I'll understand what you're talking about. But okay, can I take away this page? Okay, I got your email. Now I just have to. Wait, hold on. Oh my God. All right, this way. Okay. Let's see. Gosh, my phone sent me a message. Oh, don't send it to my phone.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Send it to my email. Because I'm on my computer and I want to be able to bring it up on my computer. I'm not on my phone running this. Can you try resending it to my email address? Yeah. I can probably forward it. We'll see which one gets to me quicker here. Go ahead and try sending it to my email. And in the future, you definitely want to do that. Hold on. If I knew how to forward, it would help. Okay, hold on. I can do it.
Yeah.
Although you need to be able to do this for the future.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'm not used to sending.
I'm uploading this to Dropbox, but it is okay. I got it. Hold on a second. I can do this. Right. This new go to meeting is horrible. Ah, there finally I was able to move it. Okay, let's see. I want to go to Dropbox, pull this file out. Give me 2 seconds here, and I'll have your graph up here.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Getting over the flu. Which everybody seems to have.
Yeah.
Never seen anything so pandemic as this is. Okay, let's see. This is January 23rd. Must be in my sent files. There it is, right there. Okay. Move it over here. Close that out. Let me open it up with Paint. All right. So what do we have? We have, big ideas. I like big ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, let's get some writing space here. So, well, I apologize for my tablet here. It's acting a little funky also. That is the equation of a line. If there is precisely one y and one x, and they're both to the 1 power, you're looking at a straight line. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I could, if I want, distribute the 1/2, right?
Yeah.
So, that is of the format y equals mx plus b. So what's the slope of that line?
It would be 1/2.
What's the y-intercept?
The 4.
Not 4. In other words, we need to get it into this format which is y equal mx plus b. Now we know the slope is 1/2 and the y-intercept is 2.
Yeah.
The y-intercept is that number right there. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I wanted to graph that, I start at the y-intercept at 2, and I apply a slope of 1/2, which means I got to go up 1 over 2. Something like, something like that. With me?
Okay. Yeah.
That's always the way you graph anything that is in this format. Y equal mx plus b. You start with b, and then you find a second point by applying the slope, whatever it is.
Okay.
If the slope was 2, then I would go up 2 and over 1. Remember, slope is always rise over run. So when the slope is 1/2, I've got to go, the rise is 1, the run is 2.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now, that's the way I would graph that. And you can see from their graph that that's exactly the same thing. And they did the same thing. They started at 2, and they went up 1 and over 2 to get a second point. And once you get a second point, 2 points define a straight line. That's all you need ever, is just 2 points.
Okay.
Okay? So, that's part of the problem. Now, if we go back up and we look at their original question, it says, write an equation of a line passing through a given point that is parallel to this equation. In other words, they want us to give them an equation of a line that is not this blue line in the picture, but another line that's parallel. In other words, it's parallel lines look like this, right? They have the same slope. Okay? However, there's something else about parallel lines. Let's start with our original equation. And I'm going to put it in y equal mxb format, not the format they gave it to you in. Now, they say that there's another line with the same slope, 1/2, that does not go through this line. It's just parallel to it. So I don't know what the other line, it's not going to have a y-intercept of 2. It's going to have a y-intercept of some other number.
Yeah.
And yet it goes through the point 4, 3. Now, every single point that a line goes through must satisfy this equation. So if I want to figure out what b is, I merely fill in the y-coordinate of the point for y and the x-coordinate of the point for x, and that allows me to solve for b. So let's do that. So I know it goes through the point 4, 3. There's the x-coordinate. There's the y-coordinate. So give me an equation that's going to let me solve for b.
Isn't it like a plus b equals c?
Nope. This has a specific y-coordinate. What is the y-coordinate?
0.
What's the y-coordinate of that point? It's the number that's under the y.
Oh, 3. Sorry.
All right. What's the x-coordinate?
4.
There's only one unknown left. That's b. Solve that equation. What do you get for b?
b equals 1.
Okay. That means the equation of the line that they're looking for, here, let's write it over here. Y equals 1/2 x, because it's got the same slope, plus 1. Different line. In fact, this line it's going to go through the 1. It's going to be exactly parallel to the other line, so it's going to look something like that. Notice that it is a different line, not the same line. But the only thing they said is that it's a parallel line. Parallel always means the same slope. If they would have said a perpendicular line, what would the slope be? Because that's the next thing they're going to ask you.
It would still be on 1, and would it be just like 1?
No, we still don't know what b is. In other words, I'm making up a new problem. I just want to make sure you understand that parallel means the same slope. What does perpendicular mean?
It goes like through it.
Perpendicular means the slope is the negative reciprocal. So if the slope of this blue line is 1/2, which it is, then the slope of this perpendicular line, the negative reciprocal, minus 2 over 1. That's how you get the slope of a perpendicular line. Got to do two things. Got to change the sign, and you know what I mean by reciprocal? 1/2's reciprocal is 2. What's the reciprocal of 3/4?
Wouldn't it be like 4/3?
Okay, what's the negative reciprocal of 3/4?
Negative 3/4?
No, negative 4/3. You got to do two things. In other words, if I had a slope of 3/4, then the slope of the perpendicular, got to do two things. Change the sign, and take the reciprocal of it. It's as simple as that. That's all you ever have to do for a perpendicular slope.
Okay.
So in this first case, our slope was 1/2. So the negative reciprocal of 1/2 is minus 2.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is that the only problem on this page, or if I scroll down? Okay. You want to send another one?
Sure.
Okay. And was that the only problem on that page? I didn't see any other. Okay.
You have to like.
Go ahead and send another one. Send it to my email.
Alrighty.
And tell me when it says file sent. Probably a good idea to do this in advance before our session.
Yeah.
Just because if we're only going to do a half-hour session, we don't want to spend 10 minutes of it having you send me files waiting.
It said it's sent.
Okay. Did not get it yet. Sure it says file sent? And did it go to davidcowan1949@gmail.com?
Yes.
There it is. Okay,
There.
hold on. Don't have any. Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay. Didn't I tell you perpendicular was coming up next? Okay, I don't think I even need to download this. I think we can work from this right here. Let me take a quick snapshot of it. so that I can draw on it. Okay, y equals minus 9x minus 1. What's the slope of that?
Slope is 9.
Minus 9.
Minus 9.
You need to include the negative sign if there is one in front of the number. So what would the slope of the perpendicular be?
Plus 9.
Got to do two things, not one. You just did one.
Over 1.
No, what's the reciprocal of 9? 1/9. In other words, 9 is actually 9 over 1, right? So what's the reciprocal of minus 9 over 1? Or what's the negative reciprocal? Remember, negative reciprocal, you got to do two things. Change the sign and flip that fraction.
Yeah, so it'll be 1 over 9.
Okay, that's the slope of the perpendicular right there. Okay, and again, so now I can write quite a bit of what I know. I know the slope is 1/9. Oops, hold on. I meant to write this y equals 1/9 x plus b. That's what I know at the moment. This y equal mx plus b, you really want to memorize that? That's going to stick with you for the next 3 years of math. Okay? And make sure you know that m means slope and b means the y-intercept. So now they're telling me that this is the equation of a line and that it passes through that point, 0, 0. So what can I do to figure out b? Remember, that's what I'm trying to figure out is b. At this point, I don't know where b is.
So it would be 0 equals 1 over 9, 0 plus b.
Okay, can you solve that for b?
B equals 0.
Okay, so what's the equation of our line?
Y equals 1 over 9 x plus 0.
Yeah, or just that.
Oh.
That's how you always do these. In other words, you substitute the point that they give you for y and x. That allows you to solve for b. And then you go back to the general format of the equation, which is y equals 1/9 x plus 0. In other words, after you solve for b, you go back and stick the y and the x back in.
Yeah.
Okay? So now we want to graph that. The answer is y equal 1/9 x, or y equal x divided by 9, means the same thing. If I have this, that's the same as 1/9 x. So your answer that you're going to put into your computer is that. Are you in real time there? I mean, is this something you want to do while we're in session? Just to verify for yourself that that's the right answer?
Yeah, hold on.
Go ahead and try it. We'll see how much that slows us down. This is something you could always do after the session if you wanted.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now it says graph it. So where am I going to start? Well, let's start by erasing all of this ink. And I think I need to scroll down a little bit. So if I want to graph that y equal x over 9, where would I start?
You would start at the 9.
Always start at b.
Oh, 1. I mean 0.
Not 1, 0. In other words, that means this thing crosses the y-axis right there. With me?
Yeah.
Now all I have to do is apply the slope. How do I apply a slope of 1/9?
So you go over 1, up 9.
Rise over run. Slope is rise over run. So what is 1/9? You go up 1 and over 9. Okay. Well, if I go up 1 and over 9, there's a second point. I don't seem to have a scale. Maybe I just didn't scroll down far enough. But you get the picture, right?
Yeah.
2 points define a line. So once you find a second point, that's all you need. You don't need 3 points or 5 points or anything. You get any 2 points that aren't on top of one another, connect them with a straight edge, and that's the line. So this line would be y equals 1/9 x. You don't need to write plus 0. Okay?
Alrighty.
Is there another one on this same page if I scroll down further, or?
That is it.
That's it. Okay, you want to send me another one?
Sure.
It's been a while since I've worked with this big ideas math. I've always liked them, though. Now, another thing we could do, just for your info, is I could log in to that website, and we would just do everything on my computer, including putting in the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And it could work that way also. And that way you wouldn't have to keep sending me pictures of each problem.
Yeah.
With only 10 minutes left, let's table that for our next session. Maybe we'll try that at our next session. So for now, just go ahead and send the next problem to my email. Once you get it sent, maybe take a picture of a second problem and send it. And we'll work on the first one when I get it. And then the second one will be sending, and we'll have it ready when it comes up.
I sent it.
Okay. There it is. Okay, midpoints are actually pretty easy.
Okay.
What do you think the midpoint between the two x coordinates are? First of all, what are the two x coordinates?
-4 and 4.
Yeah. Here, let me draw on this a little bit. So if I draw a number line, I put -4 there, and I put +4 there. Where's the midpoint?
0.
Okay, how'd you get that?
It's in the middle.
You just figured out that 0 was halfway in between those two numbers, right? But the easy way to figure it out is you add the two numbers together and divide by 2.
Yeah.
In other words, it's really easy to figure out the midpoint between -4 and 4. Not so easy to figure out the midpoint between 3 and -1. But it is easy if you just add those two numbers together and divide by 2. What do you get?
2.
Divide, and then divide by 2. You get 2 when you add them together.
And then it's 1.
Okay. So here, let me do this. In other words, if I put this on a number line, and there's -1, and there's 3, and there is 0, well, you can see that 1 is the midpoint, because 1 is 2 away from 3, and it's also 2 spaces away from -1, right?
Yeah.
Rather than having to figure all of that out, the easy way is just to add the two numbers, 3 to -1, and divide by 2. Always. That'll give you the midpoint. So what's the complete midpoint between P and Q?
0, 1.
You got it. 0, 1. Right there. So that's the first part. Then write an equation of the line that passes through the midpoint and is perpendicular to the line PQ. So in order to find the line, oops, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Huh. Are you hearing that echo?
No.
No? Okay. I won't worry about it then. I'm hearing it on my end. I think I can speak over the echo. It's hard actually, but if we have continued audio problems, I'll just call you on the phone or finish the audio on the phone.
Okay.
And then we won't have this. All right. So first of all, we want something that's perpendicular to PQ. So what do we need to figure? In order to figure out what the slope of the perpendicular line is, what do we need? We need the slope of PQ, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the slope of PQ? We'll write it like that. Rise over run. What's the rise?
So it's 0 over 1. No.
Okay, the rise is defined as y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Difference in the y coordinate. Divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is the difference in the x coordinate. So what does this work out to be? What is y sub 2 minus y sub 1? This is y sub 2.
4.
This is positive or negative?
Positive.
Minus 1 minus 3. What is that? Minus 1 minus 3.
Negative 2.
Change it to an addition problem. Remember we talked about this in our first session?
Yeah.
Change the subtraction sign to a plus. And then once you do that, you have to change the sign of whatever was being subtracted. We were subtracting positive 3, now we're going to add a negative 3. What's the answer to minus 1 plus minus 3?
It's a 2.
Minus 1 plus minus 3. Minus 4. What's the run? What is x sub 2 minus x sub 1? Meaning, what is 4 minus a minus 4? 8.
8.
What's minus 4 over 8 equal to? Simplify that.
It's negative 1 over 2.
Negative 1 over 2. Can you try to speak a little bit closer into the microphone, Dylan?
Yeah.
I'm having, you're drifting away from it. I can't hear you. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So that's the slope of the original PQ line. So what's the slope of the perpendicular? Because that's the one they're asking about. Remember, you have to do two things.
We have to change.
Change the sign.
It's going to be negative 2 over 1.
Got to change the sign. It's currently negative.
It's going to be positive.
Positive 2.
Positive 2.
Okay? So now that we have the slope, we know that y equals 2x plus b. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we wanted to go through the midpoint. So where was the midpoint? The midpoint was at 0, 1. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what?
So it's going to be 1 equals 2 times 0 plus b.
Okay, what's b equal to?
1.
What's the equation of the line?
Y equals 2x plus 1.
You got it. That is all that's involved. We've done the 3 problems. That almost covers this one. You can do these kind of problems. Now, before I let you go, I'm going to show you a website that's going to help you out tremendous.
Okay.
And I want you to copy the link. Let's see. You can go to meetings. Figure out how to do this. Okay. Hold on. Oh, here we go. If you open up the chat, you should see that link that I just sent.
Okay.
Click on that link.
I'm going to save it.
It should open it in a browser on your own desktop.
Yeah, it did.
And now save it. Click on the star. Make that as part of your favorite. So you can always get back to it. Okay? All right. Now, let's talk about this site. This is going to improve your arithmetic skill which is going to solve all your problems. You don't have a problem with algebra. What you have a problem with are single digit multiplication, addition, and subtraction, and division. So, what I'm going to do in just the last 5 minutes here, I want you to give me your answer as quickly as possible. What's the answer to the first? 6 times minus 9.
Negative 15.
Negative 54. Remember, anything multiplied by 9 has to end up with digits that add to 9. 5 and 4 add to 9.
I was looking at my screen for a second and it said negative 9 plus negative 6.
Huh. Okay. So anyway, it says correct, and it pops up another problem. And these problems are going to be randomly distributed between multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, with both positive and negative numbers. All of the things you have to do with algebra about 5 times for every single problem. So what's this one?
5.
Next one?
2.
-2.
-2.
Whenever you're subtracting each number, if the second number is bigger than the first, you've got to have a negative answer. 2 is bigger than 0. So it's got to be -2. Next one?
32.
Okay. Next one? Change this to an addition problem. Like I taught you.
-19.
Good. Again?
88.
Again?
-50.
Again? Division?
-1.
Good. All right. You're not bad on this. What I'd like you to do is spend like 5 minutes a night on this. Just doing it. Treat it like a video game. Okay?
Okay.
I guarantee you will get better whether you're trying or not. Even just with 5 minutes a night, it's not going to take long before you know all of it. And you really need to get perfect. You can't get just close. Because then you'll always go to your calculator. What I want you to do is figure out how to do all these without a calculator.
Okay.
Okay? So that's probably a good first online session. Place to end. And let's see. Sign off. If you go to meeting, you just click on the X in the upper right-hand corner of that control panel.
Okay.
And I will talk to you next time.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Jill.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
You too.